There was a time when a man named Thomas Edison sat alone in a dark room, surrounded by broken wires and burnt glass, after failing over 1,000 times to create light. Yet he refused to quit, because in his mind one idea still burned brighter than any failure. That single idea, to bring light to the world, changed human history forever. There was a time when a young man named Steve Jobs was laughed at for believing he could put the power of a computer in the hands of ordinary people. But he held onto that idea, refused to let it die, and built a revolution that reshaped the way humanity connects, creates, and dreams. And there was a time when a boy named Elon Musk, bullied and broke, stared at the stars and thought, what if we could live among them? That one idea propelled rockets beyond the atmosphere, built electric machines that defied tradition, and redefined what we call impossible. One idea, just one, is all it takes to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Every skyscraper that pierces the sky, every plane that conquers gravity, every masterpiece, invention, or empire that exists today began as nothing more than a flicker in someone's mind. But here's the truth most people never understand. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not intelligence, not luck, not timing. It is belief in a single idea and the relentless action behind it. The great minds of history did not have superhuman gifts. They had a vision, and they refused to let that vision die. You see, inside your mind right now may exist the very idea that could transform your entire life. An idea that could change your future, uplift your family, inspire millions, or alter the course of history itself. But ideas are fragile. They die when you doubt them. They vanish when you delay. And they flourish only when you believe, act, and persist. Every giant you admire today, from Edison to Jobs, Musk to Oprah, Mandela to Einstein, they all began exactly where you are right now, with a thought, a whisper, a vision so small the world could not see it yet. But they saw it. They believed in it. They breathed life into it through action. And that's why the world remembers their names. So as you listen to this message, remember this truth: your future does not begin tomorrow. It begins the moment you decide to believe in your own idea, the moment you dare to act, the moment you refuse to let fear, doubt, or failure dictate your destiny. Because one idea, just one, can transform your entire life. Every great journey that mankind has ever undertaken began with a single, invisible force, a thought. Everything you see around you right now, every invention, every structure, every achievement that has ever shaped civilization, was once a simple idea in someone's mind. Before it took form, before it became something tangible, it existed only in the unseen realm of thought. That is where all creation begins. The power of one thought is so immense that it can alter the direction of a person's life completely. It can lift someone from despair to triumph, from mediocrity to greatness, from anonymity to legacy. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. What you hold in your mind, you will eventually hold in your hands. Every man and woman walking the earth is a living reflection of the ideas they consistently think about. The circumstances, the opportunities, even the struggles you face are shaped by the dominant thoughts that occupy your mind. The truth is simple but profound. Everything begins with a single thought, and that thought has the power to shape your entire reality. Look at the great pioneers of history. Before the light bulb illuminated the world, it was a vision in Thomas Edison's imagination. Before flight became possible, it was a wild dream in the minds of the Wright brothers. Before empires were built, before revolutions were won, before great companies transformed the world, it all began with a single spark, an idea that refused to die in the mind of a dreamer. The difference between those who merely exist and those who make history lies in the courage to take one thought seriously. Most people let great ideas pass through their minds like the wind, never realizing that within those fleeting moments lies the power to change everything. You see, thoughts are not weak or meaningless. They are living forces, and when they are focused, they become unstoppable. The mind is the starting point of all success. When you decide to control what you think about, you begin to take command of your life. The world outside you is nothing but a mirror reflecting the world within you. If your thoughts are full of doubt, fear, and limitation, then your actions will be hesitant and your results will be small. But if your thoughts are charged with purpose, belief, and determination, then your world will begin to rearrange itself to match the frequency of your dominant idea. Every invention, every piece of art, every breakthrough in science or business came from a person who dared to protect and nurture a thought that others ignored. The average person dismisses their ideas as impossible or impractical. The extraordinary person takes one idea and holds it with such faith that the universe seems to bend in their favor. That is not magic. That is the law of thought, the law that governs every success story ever told. When you think deliberately, when you choose your thoughts carefully and give your mind a definite direction, you activate a force that begins to pull opportunities, people, and circumstances into alignment with your vision. You were born with this same power. The greatest gift ever given to mankind is the ability to think. Animals act by instinct, but you have the capacity to choose your thoughts, to visualize your future, and to build it with intention. That's what separates leaders from followers, creators from consumers, achievers from drifters. The people who rise above mediocrity are not necessarily smarter or luckier. They are simply more conscious of their thoughts. They understand that the quality of their thinking determines the quality of their life. If you want to transform your life, begin by transforming your thoughts. You cannot think negative, limiting, fearful thoughts and expect a positive, abundant life. The mind doesn't work that way. It will create whatever you feed it. Feed it fear, and it will create more fear. Feed it courage, and it will give you opportunities that demand courage. The moment you realize that your thoughts are not random, but powerful tools of creation, you gain control over your destiny. You begin to see that success is not about luck or chance. It's about mental discipline. It's about choosing, over and over again, to think thoughts that elevate, inspire, and strengthen you. Consider this: the human mind has no limits except the ones you impose upon it. Every idea you choose to believe in begins to take shape in your life. If you think you are capable, you will find ways to prove it true. If you think you are powerless, your actions will align with that belief. You will never rise higher than the thoughts you hold about yourself. The greatest revolution any person can experience is the realization that they can change their entire life by changing their thoughts. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of it. Every decision you make, every step you take, is first born in thought. The person who learns to direct their thinking learns to direct their life. This is why it's not enough to wish for change. You must think deliberately, consistently, and with purpose. The mind is like a garden. It will grow whatever you plant. If you plant weeds of fear and self-doubt, you will reap a tangled life full of frustration. But if you plant seeds of confidence, gratitude, and determination, your life will bloom with opportunities that others can only dream of. It all begins with one thought, one single idea that says, I can be more, I can do more, I can rise above this. That idea, if you feed it daily with belief and action, will become the foundation of a new life. It might start small, almost invisible, but over time, it grows roots, gains strength, and breaks through the surface of limitation. It becomes a force so powerful that nothing can stop it. Remember this truth. The life you are living right now is the result of the thoughts you have allowed to dominate your mind. If you desire a new life, you must birth new thoughts. Every day, decide what ideas you will entertain. Guard your mind as you would guard a treasure, for that is exactly what it is. One idea, one belief, one clear vision can redirect the course of your entire destiny. The greatest tragedy is not that people fail. It's that they never think deeply enough to discover the power they hold. They drift through life reacting instead of creating, doubting instead of believing, existing instead of living. Don't let that be you. Take one powerful idea and hold it in your mind with absolute faith. Let it burn so brightly that it consumes all doubt and fear. Let it guide your actions, shape your words, and define your choices. Because when your thought is clear and your belief is unshakable, your life has no choice but to follow. Everything begins with a single thought. Let that thought today be one of courage, vision, and greatness. Because from that one idea, just one, your entire world can change. A single idea is the seed of all transformation. Every change, every revolution, every breakthrough begins with one small, invisible spark in the mind. Ideas are not ordinary things, they are living forces. They hold the power to break limitations, to rewrite destinies, and to create realities where none existed before. The world you live in, everything you touch, everything you admire, is the outcome of ideas that refuse to die. From the wheel to electricity, from the written word to the digital age, everything we call progress began as an idea that was once laughed at, doubted, or dismissed. But the person who believed in it, who saw its potential, changed the world forever. An idea is not just a passing thought, it is a seed. And like any seed, it needs the right soil to grow. That soil is your mind. If you nurture your ideas with belief, focus, and persistence, they will grow into something extraordinary. But if you neglect them, if you starve them with fear and doubt, they will wither before they ever see the light of possibility. Every person alive has ideas, but very few have the courage to protect them long enough for them to blossom into reality. The difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one lies in what you do with your ideas. Most people underestimate the quiet, invisible power of an idea. They believe change must come from external circumstances, a new job, a lucky break, a different environment. But transformation begins within. It begins with a single idea that changes the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and the way you act in it. That's all it takes. One powerful thought that grabs hold of your mind and refuses to let go until your life begins to shift in its direction. You don't need to change everything at once. You only need one idea strong enough to ignite a fire within you. That fire will guide every step you take thereafter. Ideas are the true currency of success. They are worth more than money because money follows ideas. Every company that dominates the world today began as a thought in someone's imagination. Apple was an idea in a garage. Amazon was an idea in a small apartment. Every empire you see today once existed only in the mind of a dreamer who refused to surrender to reality. The moment you realize that one idea can change everything, you stop waiting for miracles and start creating them. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and begin to see them as challenges that sharpen your vision. The reason most people never experience the transformative power of an idea is because they let fear smother it before it takes root. They think, "Who am I to dream this big?" Or, "It's impossible." But remember this, every impossible thing you see today was once thought to be absurd. Electricity was a fantasy. Flying was a joke. Talking to someone across the world in real time was unthinkable. Yet here you are, living in a world built by those who refuse to accept the limitations of their time. They chose to believe in their ideas more than they feared failure, and that choice made them unstoppable. An idea only gains power when it's believed in. When you take that fragile, unproven thought and pour faith into it, it begins to grow roots in your subconscious mind. It begins to affect your emotions, your decisions, your habits. Before long, your actions start aligning with it. That's how transformation happens. Not in a single leap, but through small, consistent steps taken under the guidance of one strong idea. When your belief is strong enough, the entire world starts to bend in your favor. People, resources, and opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. But they were always there. It's just that now you can see them because your idea has given you vision. Ideas demand courage. They challenge the status quo. They make you uncomfortable. They push you beyond the boundaries of what feels safe. That's their purpose, to elevate you. Every time you embrace a new idea, you are reborn. You expand your consciousness and open doors that didn't exist before. But to do this, you must be willing to stand alone at times. The world resists change. It will try to convince you to stay small, to stay practical, to stay realistic. But the world's greatest achievements were never built by realists. They were built by idealists who had the strength to dream beyond reason. Understand this: your mind is a generator of infinite ideas. There is no shortage of them. What matters is not how many ideas you have, but how many you act upon with conviction. One well-nurtured idea is worth more than 1,000 forgotten thoughts. It can redefine your career, reshape your relationships, restore your confidence, and reignite your purpose. When you realize that, you begin to treat your ideas with respect. You write them down. You study them. You breathe life into them. You act on them, even when the world tells you not to, because you know that within that one idea lies the potential to change everything. Think of the most powerful people in history: inventors, philosophers, artists, leaders. What made them great was not luck or timing. It was the courage to trust one idea when no one else did. They faced failure, ridicule, and rejection, yet they persisted. They understood that the world eventually bends to the will of a determined mind. They were not superhuman. They were simply humans who believed fiercely in the power of one thought. You carry that same potential within you. The same mental power that moved mountains for them exists in you right now, waiting for direction. The tragedy of life is not that people lack opportunity. It's that they lack awareness of the power within their own ideas. They chase after distractions, never realizing that one powerful idea could change everything they are chasing for. When you commit to an idea, when you nurture it with love, discipline, and belief, you awaken forces within yourself that you never knew existed. You begin to act with purpose. You begin to think with clarity. You begin to live with intensity. One idea can give your life direction. It can pull you out of confusion and set you on a path of meaning. It can make you rise earlier, work harder, dream bigger. It can make you relentless in the pursuit of excellence. And once that idea takes hold, you will never be the same again. You will start to see potential where others see problems, opportunities where others see obstacles. The world won't change first. You will. And when you change, your world follows. So, guard your ideas. Treat them as sacred. Don't dismiss them because they seem too ambitious or unrealistic. Every great vision starts that way. Let the small thought of today be the transformation of tomorrow. Write your ideas down, act on them, believe in them. Because one day you'll look back and realize that everything you've built, everything you've become, began with that single, simple, unstoppable idea. Remember, ideas are the seeds of change. They hold within them the blueprint of your destiny. All you need is one powerful idea that you choose to believe in with unwavering faith. Feed it with action, strengthen it with persistence, and protect it from the weeds of doubt. Because that one idea, born in the silence of your mind, has the power to transform not just your life, but the world. Your mind is the workshop of creation. It is the silent engine behind every invention, every triumph, and every transformation that has ever shaped the human story. Within the walls of your own consciousness lies the power to build worlds, to create realities, to bring into existence anything you can truly imagine and believe in. Everything that exists in the physical world first existed in the invisible workshop of someone's mind. Every bridge, every poem, every piece of technology, every empire, they all began as unseen thoughts, carefully shaped, refined, and brought to life by the one force that separates humanity from everything else in creation: the ability to think. The greatest truth you can ever understand is that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Whatever you hold persistently in your mind, you will eventually hold in your hands. If you think small, your life will remain confined. If you think boldly, your life will expand in proportion to your imagination. The mind is a workshop, not a storage room for memories or worries, but a creative powerhouse capable of transforming thought into matter. It never stops working. It is constantly molding, shaping, and organizing the raw materials of your thoughts into the fabric of your reality. The question is not whether your mind is creating, it always is, but what you are allowing it to create. Every thought is a blueprint. When you think with purpose, you begin the process of construction. Your imagination is the architect, your belief is the builder, and your actions are the tools that bring it all together. The person who masters his mind masters his destiny. The one who lets his thoughts drift aimlessly becomes a slave to circumstance. You are not a victim of luck or fate. You are the product of your own mental design. Whatever you see around you right now was first an image within you. Every success story begins the moment a person realizes that they are the creator of their own world. Most people go through life unaware of this incredible power. They use their minds to replay the past instead of design the future. They worry, they doubt, they fear, and then wonder why their lives seem filled with limitation. But the truth is brutally simple. Your mind will always create in alignment with the thoughts you feed it. Think in terms of lack, and you will attract scarcity. Think in terms of abundance, and opportunities will begin to appear. The mind is obedient, it takes orders from the dominant pattern of your thinking. That is why discipline of thought is the foundation of all success. You cannot allow negative ideas to run unchecked in your workshop, because they will build structures of failure as easily as positive ones build structures of greatness. You must become the conscious designer of your mental world. You must train yourself to see possibilities where others see problems. You must feed your mind with vision, inspiration, and faith until they become your natural state of being. The mind is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever you plant. Weeds or flowers, it doesn't discriminate. The seeds you sow are your thoughts. Every day, you are planting something in the garden of your mind. The harvest will always match the seed. So, plant courage. Plant persistence. Plant the belief that you are capable of more than you've ever achieved. Because that belief, held with consistency, will start the machinery of creation within you. Think of the inventors, the dreamers, the visionaries. They saw things that did not yet exist, and through the workshop of their minds, they built them. Before the Wright brothers ever flew, they flew 1,000 times in their imagination. Before Henry Ford built the car, he built it in his thoughts over and over again. Before a single skyscraper touched the clouds, it stood tall and complete in the mind of its architect. That is the power you hold. You are not just a participant in life. You are a creator of it. The mind makes it so. When you realize your mind is a workshop, you begin to think differently. You stop blaming circumstances and start shaping them. You stop waiting for opportunity and start building it. You understand that everything you need to create success already exists within you, waiting for your command. But that power only responds to clarity. The clearer your mental picture, the stronger the energy it sends into motion. Vague thoughts create vague results. Definite thoughts create definite outcomes. That is why every great accomplishment begins with a definite purpose and a clear image of success. Once you know what you want, your mind begins working like a skilled craftsman, gathering ideas, people, and events to bring that vision to life. But this creative process requires faith, unwavering faith in your own ability to think and to build. Doubt is the great destroyer of creation. When you let fear enter the workshop, it sabotages the machinery. You must guard your mind fiercely, for it is the most valuable possession you will ever have. You must feed it only thoughts that serve your vision and align with your purpose. The mind will build whatever you believe, whether it's success or failure, joy or misery. So choose your thoughts as you would choose the foundation of your home. Carefully, deliberately, and with full awareness of their consequences. Every day, you are building something in that invisible workshop. Some people are building dreams, others are building excuses. Some are constructing towers of confidence, while others are digging pits of doubt. The difference lies only in what they think about most of the time. You cannot think failure and live successfully. You cannot think weakness and act with strength. Whatever dominates your mind will eventually dominate your life. That is the immutable law of creation. Your task, then, is to become a master craftsman of thought. Visualize what you want clearly and often. Feel it as if it already exists. Speak of it with conviction. Act toward it with confidence. Every repetition strengthens the blueprint until the mind has no choice but to turn that idea into physical form. When you think and act in harmony with your vision, you activate the laws of creation that govern the universe itself. The mind is not a passive observer. It is the force that shapes reality according to your most dominant beliefs. The power you hold within your own thoughts is far greater than any external influence. Empires rise and fall, technologies evolve, but the mind, the creative force of thought, remains eternal. It is the first cause of all human advancement, and it belongs to you. You can build peace, success, and fulfillment within yourself no matter where you are or what you face. Because the workshop of your mind is always open, always waiting for your command. So take control of your thinking. Decide this very moment that you will no longer let random thoughts dictate your future. Direct your mind with purpose. Imagine boldly, believe fully, act fearlessly, and never forget that you are the builder of your destiny. Everything begins, grows, and thrives in the unseen workshop of the mind. Use it wisely, and there is nothing you cannot create. The truth is simple yet profound. You are the architect, the engineer, and the craftsman of your own life. The materials you use are your thoughts. The tools are your beliefs. The design is your vision. The result, your destiny. Your mind is the workshop of creation, and within it lies the infinite power to build the life you were born to live. Use it, and you will transform the invisible into the inevitable. Belief is the spark that turns an idea into reality. It is the unseen force that gives life to thought, the energy that transforms dreams into tangible results. Without belief, even the greatest idea remains lifeless, trapped in the prison of imagination. But once belief enters, everything changes. The idea begins to breathe, to move, to attract, to manifest. Belief is the invisible hand that builds the visible world. It is the fuel of achievement, the heartbeat of creation, the foundation upon which all success stands. Every person who has ever accomplished something extraordinary began with an idea, but it was their belief in that idea that made it real. Think about it. Belief is the difference between those who try and those who triumph. An idea alone is fragile, easily broken by doubt, criticism, or fear. But when it's protected by belief, it becomes unstoppable. Belief strengthens the mind, focuses the will, and commands the body to act. It transforms hesitation into confidence, obstacles into opportunities, and impossibility into destiny. When you believe in something with your whole being, the universe begins to respond. Circumstances align, people appear, and pathways open that never existed before. This is not coincidence, it is the law of belief in action. The greatest minds in history understood this truth. Edison believed he could harness light before a single filament ever glowed. The Wright brothers believed in flight long before the world saw an airplane. They didn't need proof, their belief was the proof. They carried that inner conviction so powerfully that the world eventually had no choice but to believe with them. That is how progress happens. One person dares to believe when everyone else doubts. Every innovation, every movement, every miracle began when someone said, "I believe it can be done." Belief is not wishful thinking. It is not hope without substance. It is certainty. It is the quiet, unshakable knowing that something is possible even when every visible sign says otherwise. True belief doesn't waver when faced with delay or difficulty. It becomes stronger. It feeds on persistence and faith. It whispers to you in the darkest moments, reminding you that what you see now is temporary, but what you believe is eternal. That voice is the builder of worlds. Without belief, the mind has no direction. The idea may exist, but it drifts without power, like a ship without wind. Belief gives it purpose. It tells the mind, this is possible, this is real, this will happen. Once that message is accepted deeply enough, your subconscious begins to work ceaselessly to make it true. It looks for patterns, for opportunities, for ways to turn your belief into fact. You may not even notice the process at first, but every decision you make, every action you take, begins to align with your conviction. That is the mysterious power of belief. It programs your reality from the inside out. So many people hold great ideas but never see them through because they lack belief. They think of something brilliant, but the moment doubt enters, the idea dies. Doubt is the killer of creation. It whispers lies that make you question your potential. It tells you that you're not ready, that it's too late, that it's too hard. But here's the truth: the only limits that exist are the ones you accept. If you can replace doubt with belief, you can change the entire direction of your life. What you believe about yourself determines what you attempt, and what you attempt determines what you achieve. Belief gives power to the invisible. It transforms thought into energy, and energy into form. It builds momentum where there was stillness. When you truly believe, you stop waiting for things to happen. You make them happen. You move with confidence because your mind has already accepted success as inevitable. You don't ask, will this work? You decide, it must work. And that decision ignites forces beyond your understanding. Belief attracts the people, the tools, and the opportunities necessary for your idea to come alive. It is as if life itself bends to honor your conviction. But belief is not something you can fake. It must be genuine, built through repetition, reflection, and action. You build belief by visualizing success so clearly that it feels real. You build belief by speaking with confidence, by taking steps forward even when fear tries to hold you back. Every time you act in faith, your belief grows stronger, and as your belief grows, so does your power. Soon doubt becomes silent, and you begin to live as if the outcome is already secured. That is the moment transformation begins. Belief is contagious. When you truly believe in your idea, others will feel it. They may not understand why, but they'll be drawn to your energy, inspired by your certainty. People follow belief because deep down they crave it themselves. Leaders, innovators, and visionaries all possess that same magnetic confidence, not arrogance, but absolute trust in their purpose. They carry an inner light that cuts through uncertainty. You can have that same light. It starts with one decision: to believe in yourself and in the idea that burns within you, no matter what anyone else says. Every great story of success could be summarized in one line: they believed when no one else did. Belief was what made them get up after failure. Belief was what kept them working long after others gave up. Belief was what allowed them to turn defeat into wisdom and hardship into fuel. You see, belief doesn't guarantee an easy path. It guarantees endurance. It gives you the strength to keep going when logic says stop. It makes you resilient, unshakable, unstoppable. Because when you truly believe, you stop counting failures, you only count progress. There will always be moments when belief is tested. That's inevitable. But in those moments, remind yourself that doubt is temporary. Belief is eternal. Hold on to your vision. Speak words of faith. Surround yourself with inspiration that strengthens your mind. Every great creator, every builder of dreams, has faced storms of disbelief, both from others and from within. But those storms are the training ground of greatness. They forge your belief into something unbreakable. Once your belief has been tested and proven, nothing can stop you. You have within you the same power that moved the greatest minds in history. You have the ability to create, to build, to shape your future. But that power remains dormant until you believe. Belief is the key that unlocks the door to your potential. Without it, the door stays closed, no matter how great your idea. The moment you choose to believe, truly believe, the door swings open, and you begin to walk into the life you were meant to live. So decide now. Believe in your idea. Believe in your vision. Believe in your ability to make it real. Stop waiting for permission, for proof, for perfect timing. The power is already within you, waiting for your conviction to awaken it. Say to yourself, I will, I can, I must. Let that belief burn like a fire that no fear can extinguish. Because once belief activates your idea, there is nothing in this world, no obstacle, no failure, no doubt, that can stand in your way. Believe and your idea will live. Believe and your life will transform. Believe and the impossible will bow before you. Action turns thought into destiny. Every dream, every idea, every belief remains only a shadow until you take action. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between what you imagine and what you experience. You can think, plan, and dream for years, but nothing changes until you move. The universe does not reward intention alone, it rewards movement. Action is the language through which belief speaks. It is the proof that you truly desire what you claim to want. Without it, ideas die in silence, unrealized, forgotten. But with action, even the smallest idea can evolve into something magnificent. It is through action that the great divide between the dreamers and the doers is formed. The dreamer sees possibilities, the doer brings them to life. Thought without action is potential energy waiting to be released. Action is that release, the explosion that propels you toward your destiny. Every step you take, every decision you make, sets in motion forces that shape your future. You are not shaped by what you intend to do, you are shaped by what you actually do. The truth is simple yet powerful: nothing moves until you do. You can have faith, vision, and belief, but if you never act, your belief becomes a whisper that fades with time. Success is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating the moment through consistent action. The world is moved by those who dare to act while others hesitate. The greatest tragedies are not the dreams that fail, but the dreams that were never acted upon. Every unfulfilled life is a testimony to unused action. Action has power. When you move, even if you're unsure, you generate momentum. The universe responds to movement, not to hesitation. The path becomes clearer only after you take the first step. You don't need to see the entire staircase, you only need to take one step in faith. That single act of courage will unlock doors you never saw before. Each action strengthens your confidence, sharpens your focus, and brings your dream closer to reality. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't is rarely intelligence or talent. It is action. Many people know what they should do, but few actually do it. They wait for the right time, the right feeling, the right circumstances, but that perfect moment never comes. The right time is always now. Those who act, even imperfectly, always outperform those who wait endlessly for perfection. Action creates experience, and experience breeds mastery. Every failure you face while acting is still a step forward, a lesson that builds the foundation for success. Action is discipline in motion. It is the daily commitment to turn thoughts into results. It requires courage, because action always exposes you to uncertainty. But it is through that uncertainty that growth happens. No one ever achieved greatness without stepping into the unknown. The people who reached the top of their fields didn't get there by chance. They got there by taking relentless, focused action long after the excitement faded. They moved when it was hard. They acted when others quit. They persisted when the world doubted them. That persistence, that refusal to stop, is what carved their destiny. You must understand that every action you take plants a seed in the soil of your future. The actions you repeat become habits, and those habits build your destiny. Success is never the result of one grand gesture. It is the accumulation of small, consistent actions taken daily. Every great creation, every empire, every legacy was built one decision, one effort, one moment of courage at a time. The smallest daily action, when repeated with purpose, compounds into extraordinary results. The law of growth is simple: consistent action produces inevitable change. Action also transforms belief into certainty. When you act, you give your mind proof that what you believe is possible. You begin to see results, maybe small at first, but they reinforce your faith and build momentum. That momentum fuels more action, and soon, Your belief becomes unshakable because you've seen evidence of its truth. This cycle, belief, action, proof, confidence, is the engine of all success, but it begins only when you take that first courageous step. The fear of failure keeps most people inactive, but failure itself is not the enemy. Inaction is. Failure is feedback, it's information that guides your next step. Every great achiever failed more times than they succeeded, but their willingness to act again turned those failures into stepping stones. They understood that mistakes are part of the process, that every setback refines their skills, strengthens their resolve, and brings them closer to mastery. The only true failure is given up before destiny has time to unfold. Action also has a way of revealing who you truly are. You discover your strength, your limits, your resilience only when you put yourself to the test. You can't learn courage by reading about it. You learn it by facing fear and moving anyway. You can't learn confidence by wishing for it. You earn it through action by proving to yourself that you are capable. Every time you act despite fear, you rewrite the story of who you are. You transform from a person of potential into a person of power. Life does not respond to what you say you'll do. It responds to what you actually do. The person who acts becomes the person who leads. The one who hesitates becomes the one who follows. You are always creating momentum, either forward through action or backward through delay. The choice is always yours. The greatest minds in history knew this truth intimately. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They acted, learned, adjusted, and acted again. Through their persistence, they shaped destiny itself. When you take action toward your idea, you send a message to the universe that says, "I am ready." And that declaration sets unseen forces into motion. You meet people you were meant to meet, encounter opportunities that align with your goal, and experience coincidences that defy logic. But these things only happen after movement begins. Action attracts energy, and energy attracts results. The dreamers who refuse to move will never experience this flow. They remain spectators in a world built by those who dared to act. Every act of courage, every decision to move forward despite uncertainty, is an act of creation. You are shaping your destiny with every choice you make today. What you do consistently defines what you become permanently. If you act with discipline, your destiny will be one of strength. If you act with fear, your destiny will be one of regret. The power is always in your hands, in your daily actions. So move. Don't wait for the stars to align. Align yourself with your goal and take the next step. Do not wait for motivation. Action itself creates motivation. Every great accomplishment in human history began with a single movement, one decision, one act of courage, one refusal to remain still. You have that same power. You can shape your future not by what you think or hope, but by what you do today. Remember, action turns thought into destiny. Your thoughts design the blueprint, but your actions build the structure. Every time you act, you carve a new line into the story of your life. The question is, what kind of story will it be? Will it be one of hesitation and missed chances, or one of boldness, movement, and creation? The answer depends on what you do right now. Do not wait another day. Take the idea that burns in your mind, the dream that refuses to leave your heart, and act on it. No matter how small the step, take it. Because that one step will begin the chain reaction that leads to transformation. Thought becomes movement, movement becomes progress, progress becomes destiny. You are the author, and your pen is your action. Write boldly, move with conviction, create without hesitation. For action, persistent, fearless, deliberate action, is the power that turns dreams into destiny and thought into a life that echoes forever. Everything in life begins with a single idea. That one spark, when believed in, nurtured, and acted upon, has the power to transform not only your own existence but the world around you. You've now seen how each step of that transformation unfolds the birth of an idea, the belief that fuels it, the mind that shapes it, and the action that brings it to life. Every great achievement, every towering success, every lasting legacy has followed this same pattern. It is the eternal sequence of creation, thought, belief, action, and destiny. The truth is timeless and simple. You are far more powerful than you've ever imagined. The potential that lives within you is limitless. You are the thinker, the dreamer, the builder, and the creator of your world. Your circumstances are not your prison, they are the raw materials waiting for your command. Your thoughts shape your direction, your beliefs determine your strength, and your actions carve your destiny. This is not philosophy. It is law. The same law that has guided every great mind, every visionary, every soul who dared to believe in the unseen. If you take one lesson from this message, let it be this: never underestimate the power of one idea. The smallest thought, when held with conviction, can move mountains. It can rewrite your story, redefine your purpose, and renew your entire life. Every dream you've ever had, no matter how distant it seems, is possible if you will believe deeply enough and act courageously enough. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You only need a clear vision, unwavering faith, and consistent action. Do not let your ideas die in silence. Give them life through your effort. Give them strength through your persistence. Give them reality through your courage. The people who change the world are not those who never fall, but those who never stop getting back up. You will face doubt, fear, and resistance, but those are signs that you are walking the path of transformation. The greater the vision, the stronger the opposition, but within you lies everything you need to overcome it. You were born with power, purpose, and potential far beyond measure. So today, make a decision that from this moment forward, you will never again underestimate your own ideas. You will think boldly, believe fiercely, and act relentlessly. You will use your mind not as a place of fear, but as a workshop of creation. You will build your destiny thought by thought, belief by belief, and action by action. Because once you decide to take control of your mind and your movements, nothing in this world can stop you. Your life, your success, your legacy, all of it begins in the quiet space of your own mind. Protect that space, feed it with greatness, and act upon its whispers. For one idea, one belief, one action can transform everything. Thank you for being here, for thinking deeply, and for daring to grow. May this message awaken the greatness within you. Remember, you are not just a dreamer, you are a creator. Your time is now. Go out there and turn your idea into your destiny. Thank you.